So this may look familiar to you if your school district uses Springboard, because it's in your textbook, but it's got extra language supports, graphic organizers, and some other organizational little things that they do to make it more accessible to students. I don't think it's great, but this is what it is. Give me a moment here. Let me write some things up here. Identify the features of the argument. And feel free to look through the reading right now. Go ahead and get familiar with what's on the pages there. If my students are familiar, I'm going to expect you to jump. So check out what's on there. Okay, can everybody see the whiteboard up here? I'm going to pretend to start class now. Is everybody ready? Okay, I'm going to have you read these with me. Let's read the first one together. Ready? Go. I will identify the features of an argument. Okay, so what does identify mean? Can anyone tell me what identify means? Talk with your shoulder partner for 10 seconds. What does identify mean? Okay, so who can tell me what identify means? Sam, what does identify mean to you?
It means to locate.
Okay, locate.
Call it a name.
Okay. And call it a name. Okay. Does anyone have something they want to add to what Sam shared with us?
Recognize.
Recognize? Okay. You guys use big words. I think the common one that I've heard in other classes is find as well. All right, so we're going to identify what will we locate and recognize. What are we locating and recognizing today? Anybody? Marjorie?
The features of an argument.
Yeah, so we're studying arguments right now. What are some of the features of an argument?
Claim.
Claim. Okay, arguments have claims. What else have we studied?
Evidence.
Evidence. Okay. Anything else?
Rebuttal.
Rebuttals. That's right. Counterclaims and rebuttals. That's the big new piece we have for our unit this time. Okay. Is everybody clear on our first learning target for today? All right, let's move on to the second one. Are you ready? Go. I will find text examples of logos and pathos. Okay, now there are two words here that are new to us. Can I get a 0 to 5 on how you feel about logos and pathos? 0 is I don't understand it at all. And 5 is I can teach it to my friend. Show me your fingers, 0 to 5. Okay, okay. Now, this is a new vocabulary word. Let's see if I can figure this one out. Where can we look for resources to find vocabulary words?
Word connection.
Well, that's right. We've got right here. Can everyone open their textbook to page 115? We have our academic language for this unit. Can somebody find where it says logos? Where does it say logos on page 115? Yes, please.
In the little box.
Okay, can you read logos for us, please?
And the word logos means word.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
It's on here twice.
yeah, can you read what it says here with the definition?
Logos, a rhetorical appeal that uses logical reasoning and evidence.
Okay, a rhetorical appeal that uses logical reasoning and evidence. What does that mean? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to work with your table. Can you put that into your own words? What does a rhetorical appeal that uses logical reasoning and evidence mean?
Oh, and I don't understand how it's connected to word.
I don't know how it's connected to word, but certainly, so basically, it's an appeal that
Why are
has
you saying word?
Logical, it stacks
Oh,
up in
here?
such a way that
Yeah,
it's
so that is kind of
much
weird, right, how they have this little
harder to-
information here. It's one of the things I don't like about this textbook. But for this one, we tend to have the students go to the word and they go to the definition, like we've been logical the entire year, because these little things are so
Abstract structure of logic.
It's sort of a lot
Sorry,
of
this is like
And
it's super interesting for me to see it because that's
What would be an example of logos?
structured argument with fact.
So like in mathematics, if A equals B and B equals C, A equals C, so then if you created an argument, if every time I hit Sasha hits Holly, then if I hit Sasha, Holly's gonna get hit.
So it's a kind of syllogism. If A, then B,
Well,
then C.
so it's logic.
Okay.
So sort of this, where does the logic come from? In this case, it's something that happens every time.
Okay.
This is sort of using the math, I think, as a way of.
I think the type of evidence you use too, like if you're using statistics or data or something that's concrete, then
Evidence.
it would be logical.
So you could have statistical logos versus narrative logos where someone might be telling their story as evidence?
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
more objective.
Okay.
So the thing is, what they're trying to do is they're
Like
trying
emotional
to
appeal
get
could be an
back
argument if it actually was
bringing
true.
outwards now, and things like that, but
If the
just
story
But
was
would
true.
it be appealing to emotion or a reason?
with this word.
I don't know. If the story was true, and emotional, couldn't it be appealing to reason too?
It could, yeah.
Well, but that gets its own word. That's
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
It sounds like we have some good ideas going. How can you explain logos in your own words? What does logos mean? Jordana, what does logos mean to you?
So we were talking about like what is logical sound reasoning in this case, and we were talking about evidence, and then different types of evidence. So
Okay, so can you give me some examples of evidence?
yeah, like data, like facts.
Facts, okay.
Quotes would
Okay.
be like, here's this expert speaking about. So
Okay.
very hard evidence type.
And what do they mean about logical reasoning? I'm going to connect this to prior learning. Do you remember the presentation we had at the beginning of the argument unit where I talked about my ugly cat? So this is, we're making connections.
Yes.
So I said, Fluffy is a cat. All cats are cute. Therefore, Fluffy is cute. So we know this, and we know this. Therefore, this is true. So that argument is an example of logical reasoning, right? We know this, therefore this. So a lot of students have said in previous classes, this kind of reminds them of math. This plus this equals this. Okay, so when the author is connecting to the reader using facts, data, experts, evidence, and also laying things out in a this plus this equals this logical kind of reasoning, that's going to be an example of logos. Okay, who can read the pathos definition for us? Sam, will you read that out loud for us?
A rhetorical appeal to feelings.
Okay, so if logos is dealing with logic and evidence, what is pathos dealing with? Emotions, feelings, okay. And how could you put feelings, how can you show feelings or emotions in your writing?
Your word choice.
Word choice, excellent. So we're going to be looking for words that make the reader feel something. More so than facts or evidence, this is for feeling. Okay. Ooh, what happened to the extra KWL sheets? All right, does everyone remember their KWL sheet? We've gone over this a little bit in our AVID class. Now, we're studying arguments right now, aren't we? Okay, let's look at our last learning topic. This is going to set up our question for our reading. Can you read the last learning target with me? Ready? Go. I will evaluate the effectiveness of the argument. What does it mean to evaluate? What do we do when we evaluate?
Decide how good it is.
Okay. All right. And what are we deciding how good it is?
The argument.
The argument. And what makes an effective argument? What makes a good argument? Sam?
Using both logos and pathos, perhaps?
Okay, perhaps. That's a really good idea. What is the point of an argument? And yes, Marjorie?
To change someone's mind or to make someone agree with your argument.
Okay, so if we read this text and we agree with the writer, or the writer has changed our mind, is it a good argument? Yes, I would agree. I would agree. Okay, so the effectiveness is agreeing or changing your mind. Okay. So our question today, and I'd like everyone to take out a pen and write this down, we're also going to write this down, is the author's argument effective? We're going to read this with the idea in mind of deciding whether or not this is a good argument. So I would like you to take just one quick minute to look over the text. Our text starts on page 118. And we're going to quickly look at the text and let me know what you think the topic is about, the general idea of this is about. I'm going to give you 1 minute on the timer to read over the text. It's pages 118 and 119. Just very briefly, please. Okay, we're going to pretend that it's been a minute. So what are some things that you notice about this? Let me grab actually a writing utensil so I can write this down. What do we know about this? Just real quickly, what did you notice?
Looks like a letter to the mayor of Chicago.
Okay, it's a letter. All right. And what kind of letter is this? Just guessing from our unit, what kind of letter is this going to be?
Argumentative.
Okay, so we know that our format down here is going to be argumentative. All right. And what is the topic of this letter? What are they writing to the mayor of Chicago about?
To change the view of Native Americans.
Okay, so our topic here is Native Americans. All right, now we're running out of time, but the next activity would be to talk in your table groups for 2 minutes about everything you know, sharing your knowledge that you have already about Native Americans, how they're portrayed in history books, if you got that far with your pre-reading, and also what you remember about argumentative letters. Okay? And that's, I think I'm out of time at this point.
Okay. Thanks.